Utah Business and Utah SHRM are pleased to present the 2024 HR Achievement Awards, recognizing the important role that human resource professionals play in the business community at large, shining a spotlight on those that get the most out of their company's employees by making their organizations great places to work. Today's event is sponsored by Utah SHRM and Web. And now, please welcome to the stage the editor of Utah Business Magazine, Melanie Jones.
Thank you. Welcome to the 7th Annual Utah Business and Utah SHRM HR Awards, and congratulations to all of our honorees. I'm Melanie Jones. I'm the editor-in-chief of Utah Business. Utah Business fosters connection, insight, and recognition for Utah's thriving professional community. Through our events and journalism, we highlight the ideas, innovations, and people behind Utah business success stories. We're all in on Utah, and we love telling your stories. Stories like the ones you'll hear at this luncheon, and stories like the ones you'll see in the magazine when it hits mailboxes in, the next couple of days. Watch for your pictures in there. Today, we are recognizing some outstanding human resources professionals who set the standard for people management and who spearhead innovative initiatives to make their organizations great places to work. During the program, we'll have the opportunity to hear from these accomplished professionals, and I am sure we'll get an idea of why they are so successful. And since you are all culture builders for your companies, I want to remind you that nominations are open for the Living Color Awards. This award highlights individuals who have made it their mission to build and foster inclusion initiatives throughout the state of Utah. If anyone appreciates and recognizes who is creating inclusive environments, it's this group right here. I would like to thank our partner, Utah SHRM, as well as our presenting sponsor, Web. We appreciate each of your companies for your tremendous support of this event and others. Web is a full-service event company based in Salt Lake City. In addition to live events, such as this one, Web is also producing virtual events to help clients continue delivering their message to thousands of attendees across the world. Whether virtual or live, Web is one of the most creative and innovative event companies in the market. Rather than say more, let's show you who they are.
Get the speaker box loud, hitting that stuff till you hearing that sound.
We would now like to invite Grant Langston, Web's HR Director, to join us on stage.
Right. At Web, we take immense pride in the shows and events that we create and have a lot of fun doing it. Before joining Web, my experience is mostly on stage, largely unaware of the bustling activity behind the scenes. And there's so many elements that go into a show happening successfully, right? The surge of electrical power, the intricate rigging, dynamic lighting, decor that transform an otherwise simple and plain space into something unique and special. Of course, there's video elements, right? That projector screens, TV screens, cameras, LED walls, and the like. They all play their critical role. However, I've learned one critical lesson. Right? A show without audio right? So it doesn't matter what you see and how pretty it is. If you don't have audio, things will come to a screeching halt. So the success of a show hinges on meticulous planning, right? Clear communication, right? Trust in the team, and hours of passionate work from individuals who bring their own unique skill sets to the table. So this brings me to my main point, right? The work that we do in HR mirrors the behind-the-scenes magic of of event production. So in order for us in HR to also be successful, there has to be an immense amount of planning and strategy, right? Trust with your teams, clear communication, and of course, hours and hours of passionate work. So figuratively dressed in black, working quietly behind stage, HR is typically not on stage and in the spotlight, yet we're essential in making everything run smoothly. So if we miss the equivalent of an audio or a visual cue, you're going to notice things are going to happen. But when things go right, when the relationships are strong, the communication is tight, and the strategy meets the execution, we have the ability to leave a lasting and meaningful impact. So our success in HR is not the triumph of a single department, right? But the result of departments working in synchrony. And in HR, we often lead through this feeling of influence, but instead of like a direct authority, right? Balancing delicately on this tightrope while trying to juggle a typewriter, a snow globe, and a feral cat, right? And for the 100th time, trying to explain that we can't fix the issue with an employee, filling out their W-4 wrong, right? But we're going to be there to help them, in a compassionate way. So today, as we celebrate these remarkable HR professionals, we also wanted to acknowledge the teams that bolster our success. And we know that our jobs, when we have a management team and a CEO that just doesn't get it, it makes our jobs that much harder, right? And while sometimes, right, from time to time, we might feel alone, the truth is we can't succeed alone, as cheesy as that sounds. So a heartfelt thank you to everyone who plays a part in our achievements. Thanks.
Thank you, Grant. Utah SHRM is an affiliate of the Society of Human Resources Management, the voice of all things work. Utah SHRM is a volunteer-led organization that connects global and national resources of SHRM to Utah's 5 chapter affiliates: Bridgerland HR, Northern Utah HR Association, Salt Lake SHRM, Central Utah SHRM, and Color Country HR Association. Utah SHRM's purpose is to elevate the HR profession. Its mission is to empower people and workplaces by advancing HR practices and maximizing human potential. And its vision is to build a world of work that works for all. Please give a warm welcome to the Director of Utah SHRM and Vice President of HR and Admin Services at Utah Housing Corporation, Sterling Barker.
Ladies and gentlemen, fellow SHRM volunteer leaders, and today's honorees and honored guests, it's great to be here. I'm Sterling Barker. As I mentioned, Director of Utah SHRM. It's not something that I don't like the limelight, and a lot of these honorees here, some probably like the limelight. Most of us probably don't. And I am a part of, as was stated, SHRM is the preeminent voice of all things work. And it's with great pleasure that I share with you about Utah SHRM and its local chapters and what we bring to our communities. It was already mentioned that we help to bring and connect the national SHRM resources and provide support to our local communities through these 5 chapter affiliates. Bridgerland, which is up in the Logan and Brigham City area. Northern Utah SHRM, which is in Weber and Davis County area. Salt Lake SHRM, which is geographically a very small area, but which is our largest chapter. Central Utah SHRM, which is in the headquartered in the Provo-Orem area, but which covers quite a large geographic area, and Color Country HR, which is headquartered in St. George, but which covers the whole, almost a quarter of the state in southern Utah. And together we form a vibrant tapestry of HR professionals dedicated to elevating our profession and maximizing human potential. This is our 7th year, as was mentioned, partnering with Utah Business on these awards, and I was privileged to be part of its development. 7 years ago, I was new to the Utah SHRM board, and it was a newly created position, the Director of Leadership and Recognition. And Elisa Garn, who was, I was leaving, I had been the Salt Lake SHRM chapter president, and Elisa Garn was the new chapter president of Salt Lake SHRM, and she and I had both thought that it would be a great idea to come up with some kind of a recognition program for HR professionals, because we knew that most, now Elisa is an exception, she likes the limelight. Those of you who know her know that she is not shy from the limelight, but she is not like most HR people. A lot of HR people tend to shy from the limelight. But most of us are commonly found in back offices and conference rooms with our sleeves rolled up, working hard but rarely seeking or getting the credit that we deserve for the difference that we make. And so our goal with the HR Achievement Awards was to recognize HR professionals who are making a difference in our businesses and elevating the HR profession in Utah. Utah SHRM makes a substantial money investment for a nonprofit association, and our volunteers make a substantial time commitment to the process. And we've appreciated our association and partnership with Utah Business. Lynette Cloward and her team really do a great job with these celebrations, and they do this right. Let's give them a round of applause for what they do here. SHRM's purpose is clear: to elevate the HR profession, and its mission is bold: to empower people and workplaces by advancing HR practices. And its vision is ambitious: to build a world of work that works for all. Career opportunities in the HR management field are projected to grow faster than most other occupations on average over the next decade. And while many HR professionals pursue HR as a career, others find their way to HR via other paths. You know, I was an office manager with KPMG, one of the big 4 accounting firms, for 8 years, back in the early 2000s. It's a role with practical experience that prepared me to certify as an HR professional. And when I left there, I transitioned to become an HR manager. My career path took me to HR director and then now to VP of HR. You might know somebody who would benefit from SHRM membership, but whether they be an office manager, a small business owner, or even a high schooler that's considering what career to pursue. SHRM members have access to an unparalleled suite of resources designed to support every phase of an HR career. SHRM's website provides countless resources, including templates and how-to guides, webinars, HR certification guidance, compliance resources, tools and support, access to its annual conferences, and all things that you need to thrive in an ever-evolving landscape of HR. Utah SHRM sponsors a Work Elevated conference, or as we call it, WeCon, each fall. This year in September, and our local chapters each provide monthly networking meetings with continuing education presentations on various hot HR topics, and sponsor their own conferences as well. So I invite you or someone that you might know to join us on this journey of growth, learning, and transformation. Become a member of SHRM and a local SHRM chapter and unlock a world of opportunities to enhance your skills, expand your network in HR, and make a difference in the lives of those that you serve. Together, let us build a world of work that works for all. Thank you. I'd now like to invite Joylyn Jepson, who is the co-director of WeCon, to tell us more about the upcoming WeCon conference in September. Joylyn?
Thank you, Sterling. I'm excited to be here and talk to you all about our WeCon Mania. It is Utah SHRM's annual conference, and this is a special year for us because it's our 60th anniversary. And so we are coming together with WeCon Mania. Join us the end of September at the Utah Valley Convention Center in Provo. We're going to have something for everyone. We've got 5 tracks covering employment law, emerging professionals, total rewards, stuff especially for public sector employees and companies, culture and recruiting, and we also have an executive summit. So register now using that lovely QR code and join us for learning, networking, and fun, and not to mention our Beatles tribute band. So it'll be a fun experience for all.
Thank you both. When I think about key moments in my career, HR professionals have always been there. I remember Carol, who helped me navigate new benefits when I became a first-time mom, John, who really listened as I advocated on behalf of an employee, then translated that conversation into company-wide policies like part-time benefits and bridging that helped all of our employees. I remember Lori, who always helped me find new team members who would fit the culture I was building. Nicole, who led me through leadership training as a new director. Angela, who helped me navigate a difficult separation with the founder's granddaughter. David, who helped me feel sane when I started a new career. Jen, who compassionately delivered the news that I was part of a RIF. And Thomas, who onboarded me for my dream job at Utah Business, and Thomas is here, so yeah. HR professionals are present at all the most human moments of a career, when emotions are running high, when we're stuck and can't move forward, when we're overjoyed but overwhelmed. It takes a special type of person to lower the temperature in these intense situations. But that's just the tip of the iceberg when it comes to human resources. HR leaders are deeply engaged in company strategy. They're experts on compensation and benefits and are on the front lines of recruitment and retention. HR leaders focus on talent development and help create training programs. They help company managers work through the hard task of employee discipline and performance improvement. HR leaders strive to ensure their workplaces are fair, safe, and welcoming to all employees. Altogether, it adds up to one of the most vital roles within any organization. It's often one of the most underappreciated roles as well, and that's why I'm so pleased to join with you all today in giving a well-deserved thank you to the human resources professionals who make their organizations operate at peak performance. On behalf of Utah Business, please accept our warmest congratulations for your many achievements. And to you in the audience, please join me in a round of applause for these tremendous HR Achievement Award honorees. Congratulations to you all. We're now pleased to move on to the recognition part of today's program, where we will recognize our HR Achievement honorees from small up to extra large companies. Please note, while we were not able to get magazines in time for the event today, a member of our team will reach out to you within the next couple of days to coordinate sending you a couple of copies for keepsakes. Now, the first award recipient we will recognize this afternoon from the small business category is Nolan Goodwin. Please turn your attention to the video screens.
I have a philosophy, and this is my philosophy of resumes. I look at it for one thing. Have they had a job? And if they did, then I send them an email to set up a telephone interview. Because it doesn't matter to me what kind of job they've had, but they've got to have the experience of getting up, going somewhere, and then I can talk with them and see if they're going to be a good fit. My hope and dream with HR in the future is that it keeps the H in HR, which is human, because we deal with people and people's families, people's lives, and we have to make sure that they're taken care of. And that's why I like to say that I'm a human resource specialist, dealing with benefits, payroll, and hiring, things like that, but making sure that that human aspect is always part of it, regardless of where it goes. AI, digital, whatever, there's got to be that human interaction.
Please welcome to the stage from Achieve Today, their VP of Finance and Human Resources, Nolan Goodwin.
You know, there's a huge aspect of HR. My area of expertise is actually the area of talent acquisition. And my role is kind of unique because I helped start the company that I'm at right now. And we actually have an impact on hundreds of HR departments across the country. And so what I do that's quite unique is I help facilitate that and help these organizations understand what's happening in the marketplace when it comes to hiring, and really just help them understand how SEO, algorithms, AI, and all of that impacts the hiring process. And so it's kind of cool. It's very rewarding when I see a new professional like I was 20 years ago coming into the recruiting world and have been put in this situation where they're hiring and they have no clue what they're doing, and really watching them grow, watching them go from somebody who really knows and understands very little about the hiring process to somebody who is confident and is finding the right people for the organization and really making a difference in the types of people that they get to work with. So I think that kind of impact is huge.
We are proud to recognize Stephen Smith, Chief Hiring Expert with Applicant Pro. Unfortunately, due to a death in the family, Stephen could not be here with us today. Please join me in a round of applause for his outstanding work.
When I think of a pivotal moment in my career, I think of my boss in my first HR role. And every Monday morning, we would lead new hire orientation together. And he would share the story about accountability. And he told this story to inspire people to take full accountability for the mistakes that we make. And we all make them, especially when we are starting out a new career. And when he would tell this story, everyone would be on the edge of their seats. You could have heard a needle drop in that room. I remembered that story. So fast forward a couple years later, I was taking on payroll, which was a huge growth opportunity in my career. And I made this mistake where I didn't submit payroll on time. So Friday morning, I woke up, got a text that employees hadn't received their paychecks, and had this gut-wrenching moment realizing it was my fault. My boss's response wasn't disappointment or shame. It was full of appreciation for my honesty. It solidified accountability as a personal value of my own, and also made me realize the type of leader that I wanted to be for someone else in my career. It makes me think of the quote is that you can do great things when you have a great leader who believes in your potential.
Congratulations and welcome to the stage, Diana Wilkerson, City Cast Human Resources Manager.
I think my biggest piece of advice for people who are just starting their career in HR is to slow down, look around, and learn the business that you're supporting, because the rest kind of comes along with it. You'll know that it's the right place for you to be if you can feel it in your gut. If you leave going home every single day knowing how big of a difference you're making, then you're in the right spot. I feel like the company of the future takes care of their employees by listening to them and understanding that it's not a one-size-fits-all, and that we all are on different journeys and paths, and we really need to listen to people and support them in the ways that they're asking for, and that will be the most beneficial for them.
Medium-sized companies, please welcome to the stage Director of Human Resources for Waterford School, Haley Carpenter.
I think that one of the biggest things for me personally is I actually got into HR full-time because of a layoff, which obviously is not something anybody wants to go through, and it's difficult. I was fortunate that very quickly a new door opened for me, and that kicked off a whole new stage of my career that I didn't even know could exist. That was definitely a pivotal point in my life as I look back. That was 7 or 8 years ago now. It's been a while. But from there, I got the opportunity to start recruiting full-time. That was how I initially got into HR. And then being at Job Nimbus for the last 2 years, it's an amazing company. It's one of those companies that's not quite a startup anymore. It's definitely not an enterprise operation anymore. So we certainly have our lanes that we stay within, but we also have an opportunity to wear a lot of hats. And I can say that I am surrounded by more mentors than I have time to work with, which is a wonderful problem to have, and certainly promotes a lot of personal development. And also being in HR and on the team that I am, it helps us develop the people around us and help them be better as well.
Are you done? Please give a warm welcome to Nick Cook, Talent Acquisition Manager for Job Nimbus.
The challenging part that I've experienced with HR was COVID. COVID made a dramatic change for us. Not only did I have to then learn the CDC rules, the Salt Lake County health rules, the Davis County health rules, I had to then incorporate that because we work with individuals with intellectual disabilities. So we kind of fall into this healthcare field that required a whole nother level of interaction. So learning that and implementing that, and really what kind of came from that is because our employees are so critical to the service, oftentimes we expected employees to come to work sick. You know, they didn't feel well, we needed them, so they were there. And COVID really helped us have a mind shift and say, you're not feeling well, stay home, get better, and come back, because we do care and we want you at your best.
Please welcome to the stage from Turn Community Services, their Director of Human Resources, Brenda Harris.
What advice would I give to newbies? First and foremost, find a mentor. One of the things that helped me early on in my career was having a pretty small network of experienced HR professionals that I could reach out to on LinkedIn or even text. And having that support has always been crucial for me. But also get involved with SHRM. Having those resources, it's super inexpensive, but that is another thing that really can kind of set you apart. Going to those meetings, getting that education, getting your certifications, that's something that can really leap you forward early on in your career. This may be a radical idea, but I think it's the companies of the future are going to be ones that listen to their employees. I've found that the companies I've worked for have always been very in tune with what their employees want and with what they're saying. And so the companies of the future are going to be those that are guided by their employee base, you know, with their benefits, with their vacation time, with their compensation bands. All of that stuff is going to be dictated by the employees.
Please give a warm welcome to Chase Kempton, Director of Human Resources at Squeeze.
I actually started in HR before it was a class you could take or a degree you could get. I sort of stumbled into HR. I started in insurance with Regents because they offered insurance to part-time employees when I was in college. And when I was ready to move on in my career, insurance and benefits live in HR. So my first job outside of an insurance company was in an HR department. I loved it and hated it at the same time. I loved working with the leaders and the managers and the employees to build a stronger, better culture. I did not love the perception, fairly earned in most cases, of what HR looks like. And so my goal, my entire career, has been to disrupt old school HR and to really rethink how we do this. Stop looking at HR as the party police and start looking at them as the leaders of the organization in bringing everyone together on the same page. Because you cannot have a company without employees, and you cannot employ people without an organization.
Welcome to the stage, the founder and president of Kind HR, Lindsay Mattis.
I think the most rewarding part to being HR is just the impact that HR can make in the organization. I head the HR department in my company, and I get to make decisions that impact the whole company, the people, and the business. And I think that's the most rewarding, trying to make sure that you do everything right for the employees and for the company. So when we were building out the company, the first things that I did was create a handbook that is very inclusive. We actually won an award because of our policies. They're very inclusive when it comes to where it's bereavement, whatever is paid time off for parents, and all the policies that we draft are meant to be very inclusive, very broad. So it's not just the employee itself, but also their family members. And I think that was a huge impact, and people love it.
A warm round of applause for the Director of People and Talent Strategy for My Plan Advocate, Mario Silva.
I started with the Advocates when it was a company of 10, and I've been given the opportunity to help it grow over the years to a company that is in 11 states with over 200 employees. And the constant growth and challenges just are so key to who I am and what I enjoy. And it's given me an opportunity to just pursue my passions, but still be connected to a field that helps people every day. For those who are considering going into HR or new, I would say be prepared that the work you do will be unseen. So often, no one realizes what goes on behind the scenes, but they feel it. If it goes well, if it doesn't, there's that sense there. And knowing that you won't have that opportunity to be in the spotlight, you need to find other ways to celebrate, whether that's with your team or individually. Make sure you do, because the work we do matters. It impacts everyone.
Being recognized for her time as Director of Finance and Human Resources at the Advocates Injury Attorneys, please give a warm welcome to Amber Southern, currently the Senior Strategy and Operations Manager for Platform Accounting Group.
I think employers of the future would be wise to never be complacent. I think they always have to keep one eye on the objectives of the business and the other eye firmly on the employees and the feedback that they're getting from them. I don't think it's ever one and done. We always have to be vigilant about looking out for where we can do better to support our employees and make sure that through those programs that we're implementing, they feel like there is a roadmap forward and there is security for them, and that we're always making sure we're providing the best work environment we can for our employees.
A round of applause for the Director of Human Resources at GPS Capital Markets, Lisa Wilson.
Being able to have the opportunity, and it doesn't always happen, but having the opportunity to see the impact that you've made on whether it's an individual or a department or even a task. I've had lots of pivotal moments, I think, throughout my career, and just I get to learn as well. So not only do I get to be a resource and a mentor in some areas, but I also learn from all of my experiences. And I can list a bunch that stand out, but even when experiences aren't so easy and there's hard decisions that have to be made, just learning and being able to maybe pass that knowledge on to someone or make someone's life or day even a little bit better, that's all I need.
Now entering the large company category, introducing Carrie Crane, the Senior Director of Human Resources for Young Living Essential Oils.
When I was in college, I was working in retail, and I actually thought I was going to be a pilot, and then I decided to switch into HR when I started hiring people for this retail store I was working for, and I was like, I'm actually pretty good at this, and I really like this side of it. I love interviewing people, finding out what they're passionate about, and then I also love to help people hone in on their skills and develop them, and so that's where it kind of took a turn in my career and decided to pursue that. My favorite part about working at Lucid is absolutely the people, hands down. They're incredible and amazing and all in their own right. So each individual brings a different skill set to the table, and collectively as a whole, we're unstoppable. One of the really exciting projects that I worked on in the last year was implementing our strategic hiring guide. And it is a way to mitigate bias and make the interview processes similar for every candidate for the same role. Really getting everyone on the same page around what we're working on so that the recruiter and the hiring manager are working together to fill positions with quality candidates who are from a diverse background and bring a unique skill set to Lucid.
Please give a warm welcome to the Senior Director of Talent Acquisition at Lucid Software, Jana Johnson-Taylor.
I see HR utilizing technology in new ways that we never have. For example, pre-COVID times, we were used to an HR person always being on site, always having someone to talk to. And I think COVID really helped us stretch our capabilities. And now myself, my entire team, and many of us HR professionals can operate remote, which not only gains efficiencies, but we're able to span a much greater scope of area as well. But in the future, I would hope to see HR become more of a field that is widely recognized, something that people can look forward to. And as they're growing up, there's more exposure into what HR really is. I'd hope that there continues to be education and desire to get people to join this great field.
Inviting to the stage Blake Mills, Human Resources Manager for R1 RCM.
When you look at every generation, every different generation, they all have needs that are kind of in line with the times, right? Like right now, one that we hear a lot is that work-life balance and making sure that they can be able to have something other than pizza parties. But really what I try to always remember is that people are people. We have these overarching needs, right? The need to advance our careers, the need to be able to support our families, the need to be able to be treated in a way that we feel is fair and respectful of one another, and a few other of those basic needs. And if we keep in mind those needs, what people truly care about, also take into consideration the needs of the times, we're going to be able to find ways to take care of our people in a way that makes the most impact for them.
Congratulations to Daly's Premium Meats Senior Human Resources Manager, Deborah Viviana Sanchez.
As I think about the future of HR and where HR is going, I think that it's really, some of it's moving away from using the terms human resources, right? I think about people and culture and the influence that an organization has on all the people that work for that organization. So I think that innovation really needs to be tied to how does a company create experiences for their employees that allow their employees to find meaning in what they do, and at the same time be engaged in creating a culture that allows a company to be successful. So the advice I would give to someone just starting in HR is, as you get into your first job, make sure you take the time to really understand your business. And any job that you get going forward, focus on what it is that makes that business tick and build your business acumen. And then from there, able to start thinking through how are you going to tie that into the business strategy and linking the people side of the house with the strategy side of the house. So a lot of the other HR stuff will come along with it.
Now recognizing extra large companies, let's welcome to the stage Jessica Carter, accepting the award on behalf of Vivint Smart Homes Vice President of Human Resources, Clark Hymas.
As we see a lot of innovation in all industries and all different functions of a company, we see things like AI taking over. We see interest in automation and kind of advancements like that. There is a way to use that in HR. HR is very antiquated in a lot of places, having really old, filing systems or recruiting practices, whatever it might be. There's a lot of ways to kind of take those automation and AI advances that a lot of companies are using in other areas and applying them to HR. I think it's important to have a good foundation and good processes before you do so. A lot of people get excited about all these new things and kind of lose focus on what matters in a lot of ways with your people. But I think it's a way to, once you understand those basic processes and have those in place, being able to advance your HR function through those tools.
A big round of applause for Cameron Maylett, Blue Raven Solar's Director of Human Resources and Talent Acquisition.
I started my career in theater and specifically nonprofit arts, which is not exactly traditional, but I found a lot in HR, people have non-traditional routes, so I'm one of those people. I was working at Theater Communications Group in Field-Wide Learning, and suddenly we found ourselves in the midst of Me Too. During that time, there was a lot revealed that theaters did not have resources for anti-harassment or even building policies to protect their employees. So I had the really amazing opportunity to work firsthand with theaters to build safer spaces for the folks that worked making that art. And in that moment, I realized that's what I wanted to spend my life doing, creating policies, creating resources, creating cultures. And now I've been able to live in Utah for the last 3 years and have just fell in love with every piece of this state, of this city of Salt Lake City. Through my work at Recursion, I've gotten to work a lot with Equality Utah, and that has opened a lot of doors for how we can create an amazing place for people to live here.
We now have a special award for an honoree who is up and coming in the field. We're proud to introduce the People Business Partner of Recursion, Callan Carpenter.
I've always asked hiring managers a question. Do you want someone that checks every single box on their resume and's been doing that and nothing else for the last several years? Or do you want someone that just checks a couple of boxes, that has capacity to check 20, 30, 40 boxes in the future and grow with the company and be dynamic? The answer is always the same. I hope we as HR professionals can own the fact that we will never know a job seeker or a candidate as well as they know themselves. We are there to enable, empower, inform, and identify. I feel like we should rate energetic and desire to work for a company a lot more than what it's taken into consideration now. An employee that has a desire and wants to work for your company and brings that level of energy and tenacity, I think has capacity to exceed expectations, opposed to a candidate that checks every single box on the resume. So I hope companies in the future can take that into the rating consideration and just put that off the charts for their selection of who they choose to onboard as far as their talent and candidates of the future.
Being honored for her innovation in the HR space, Emily Rushton, founder and CEO of Hire Integrated.
I think one of the most pivotal aspects of my career was joining Health Catalyst, which is a company that I'm with currently. And the reason why it was so different for me is because they take a really different approach. A lot of companies will say that they really care about their team members, and this is the first company that I've worked for where I feel like the priority is always with the team member. And so it makes my job really interesting. It makes it in some ways more difficult to balance the nuances of taking care of your team members, but also making sure all the business needs are met as well. But it's been coming up on 11 years and a really great experience. I think what will be really important for companies of the future is to focus more on getting good talent, which means they will have to find ways to keep employees dedicated and engaged. It feels more and more like employees are leaving organizations even to go for not that much more money or whatnot, and so it will really be important for companies to focus on what will be best for those employees and making sure that they're treating them well.
Last summer, I wrote an article for Utah Business Magazine about pay equity, and the 30 minutes that I spent on the phone interviewing Linda Llewellyn were a masterclass. If you ever have questions about this or want to hear her statistics of how she totally turned this around for her company, catch her afterward. To our final honoree, please give a round of applause for our Lifetime Achievement Award winner, Linda Llewellyn.
Many of us have heard the phrase, finding a job that you love. When you find a job that you love, you never work a moment or an hour in your lifetime. And as I was growing up, I didn't want to be in personnel. Remember when it was called personnel? I wanted to be an actress, and I wanted to be an elementary school teacher, and I wanted to be a psychologist. And as you think about those three roles and you roll that all up, sometimes that kind of looks like an HR job. So
Thank you, Utah Business Magazine, for this honor. I am very, very honored, but most of all, just being here today and listening to your stories has just been amazing. So I really appreciate that. I also am so grateful for a bunch of people in my life, many of whom are sitting at this table. Health Catalyst has been such an amazing opportunity for me, again, being there for 11 years, but the work that gets done is really due to the people that I work with, and I drive them crazy every single day, but they never fail to show up and make me look good. 2 of them are here today. Also, I came from a very large family, and I have, there are 5 girls and 2 boys. 2 of those sisters are here today, and they're my best friends. I look up to them, I admire them, and we laugh really hard together. And I'll also say, you know, my career takes second seat always to the most important job of my life, and that is to be a mom. And coming off the heels of Mother's Day weekend, I could not say that. And I have 2 amazing children, one of whom is here today. And then finally, I just want to thank my partner in life who holds me up, who supports me, encourages me, and reminds me that I can do this. So thank you all so much for being here today.
Thank you all for being here today. Amazing thing when you think about HR professionals, you're rule followers, you keep the company safe, you keep the personnel safe, but in here you really let your hair down. I haven't heard such screams at any awards ceremony that we've done this whole year. So a round of applause to you for showing up for your teammates and supporting this whole event. Just a few notes as we wrap things up and get you back to your important work. First, I'd like to express my personal gratitude to the wonderful Utah Business Events team. Thank you to Lynette, Hannah, and Hayden who organized this beautiful event today. Let's give them a round. Also, your parking is paid for. You should have received a voucher as you checked in. If you didn't receive one, please get one from the registration desk before you leave. For comprehensive and timely updates about upcoming Utah business events, as well as local business news, please subscribe to our free daily email newsletter by scanning the QR code on your table. Additionally, as an attendee at today's luncheon, we want to give you a complimentary 1-year subscription to the print version of Utah Business Magazine. Subscription registration is also included on that same QR code on your table. The videos of our honorees, along with this entire event, will be posted to the Utah Business YouTube and also on the article page below the article. You are all welcome to share these with family, friends, and coworkers. We love to see and share your celebratory social media posts, so make sure to tag Utah Business on Instagram, Facebook, and LinkedIn. As a reminder, Utah Business is also currently accepting registrations for Fast 50. Find out if your company really is one of the fastest growing in the state. Visit our website to register. We like to gather name tags so we can recycle them. You are welcome to either leave them on your table or with a member of our staff at the registration table. That concludes our event for the day. Thank you for joining us, and congratulations once again to the 2024 HR Achievement honorees.